Hi, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is where we talk about cross stitch. It's where you make X's and X's and X's and more X's and more X's and even more X's of different colors. And all of a sudden it's like a dark light bright.
He's not wrong, people.
Yep.
He's not wrong. Today is Monday, November 9th. T-minus 11 days till move.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are we ready?
Did I get a new toy today because we had to?
Yes. Joe went to mow the lawn one more time. Because, you know,
On
it's
Saturday.
been like ridiculously nice. And wet. And it got ridiculously warm. So Saturday, Joe was like, I'm going to mow the lawn one more time. And the lawnmower died.
We were actually going to leave the lawnmower on the curb when we moved because it was that far gone. But then, so I got what I was going to get next spring today. I got a cordless electric one. And it's the good one. It's the expensive one.
It's a nice one. Yes, so.
And it comes with the lawnmower, and then eventually we're getting the snow blower, the weed whacker, the chainsaw, and the leaf blower. And they all use the same batteries. So that's really good.
It's great. So we got that.
And yeah, we kind of did something over the weekend.
We did. We had our virtual retreat over the weekend. We got to meet some lovely ladies and hang out with some great friends and make new friends, and it was a blast.
And laugh our bums off.
Laugh our butts off. And Sarah, I can't remember her last name off the top of my head, from Sister Lou Stitches, donated 4 of her charts to folks who participated, and we drew winners for that. Shelly from Just Stitching donated a gift certificate, and I handed out a gift certificate from the Slovak Farm. We had lots of fun.
Was it Lynn or Linda's husband that was funny?
Lynn.
All you hear is that a guy?
And she was like, yes.
Is he there against his will?
And she was like, no.
And I'm like, come join us. It's not as bad as you think.
Join us.
Oh, I always find it, like, most people are like, cool, you cross stitch. After they get over the shock of, wait a minute, you what? Oh, okay. But it's usually that isn't normal. Especially when, like, I knew it was going to happen at least once. Somebody's like, hello, ladies. And I went, hi. And then, oh, and gentlemen. Because usually with the Zoom people, especially with the people from Virtual Stitchers, there aren't many guys. I don't think there are any guys.
There are now some guys that hop on like once a week on Virtual Stitchers, but, you know. It was a good time. We had a blast. And we stitched lots and lots and lots and lots and lots.
You'll see. I didn't keep count because I would have ruined my stitchy fun. Let me see. That Lynn, right?
That Lynn. That was the Lynn.
Lynn, twin mom stitcher. I'm thinking that's supposed to be Goldie Fishies.
Yes.
Who's your apple? Hey, Angie, nice to meet you. And Lynn again.
I believe Goldie Fishy's name is Lucinda, if I remember correctly. Brain. My brain doesn't always function correctly. So, okay, why don't we go into whips, because that's going to be interesting.
At least I only did one project, but you'll see how much I did. Boy.
Whips.
Yay.
All right, whip it, baby.
Yeah, this is going to be no surprise to anybody. Ink Circles Dragons of Sumatra. I got a little bit done. Like, most of this and that. And I only stitched during the retreat. That is on 16 count. Picture this plus a thunderstorm. And a Garth Brooks song always goes through my head when I see that name.
Thunder roll. Okay.
And the lightning strikes down, down, down.
Oh, mercies. Okay.
Hi, we're dorks. If you can't tell that by now, yeah. Do you have a problem listening to dorks? Bye. The X button's up there.
So last week, Daily 30 was Life's Gourd Week. We did all of our prompts about gourds. I was mostly done with mine by the time Monday rolled around. Not sorry.
I'm actually glad you're caught up because you're not going to be able to stitch much this week. I am talking about it. Too late.
So I had to stitch on something that had a vine on it. And my lovely crazy plants have a vine on it.
Plant happiness.
Plant happiness, there's vine up here, there's vine down here. One could probably say this border is a vine. So I did 402.25 stitches on it.
Ah! My soul! I expected her to say in a third just to really get me going.
So, here we are. The circle is not done yet. There is 2 leaves left to do on it. And the vine that's up top needs to be put on the bottom. It's almost done.
It's a circle of life.
I also use this for Crystal Academy as a plant that would have medicinal purposes.
If you ever want to hear about flowers and medicinal purposes, see if you can get a hold of old episodes of Survivor Man. Half the flowers in the world have some form of medicinal purpose.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Okay. So, then I started on yes. Okay. So, I also had to finish up my green stitches for Life's a Gourd Week. And I did those on Lady of the Flag. I did a stamp, 2 stamps on Lady of the Flag for the November monthly. So I did 2 stamps on Lady of the Flag. And I finished up the like 40-some stitches I had left from my green stitches after we filmed last week. So here is Lady of the Flag now. After I put in 30, 27, what's 27 plus 6?
27 plus 6 is 33.
So 33 stitches, and 624 stitches, and 534 stitches. I did a lot of stitches on Lady of the Flag this weekend.
I'm not doing that in my head. You got a calculator.
4 and 4 is 8. 2 and 3 is 5. 6 and 5 is 11. So I did 1,158 stitches on Lady of the Flag this weekend.
She's coming along. She looks like a lady now.
She's coming along swimming.
She actually looks like a very patriotic ghost right now.
Yes, she does. I also did her for stitches for Crystal Academy. I did her as something that could wear pants, something that could be injured, and something we could use as bandages. And then we went frog gigging again this week at Crystal Academy. So I used her to catch some frogs. I caught 4 frogs with her.
Can I just be a smart bet?
What?
Was that because she had a really long pole? Whack! Got a frog.
I mean, you may not be wrong.
I've seen people hunt frogs that way. As I said, I like the show Survivor Man.
Well, frog gigging, as I learned after the last time we went frog gigging, a gig is a like forked pole that you stick the frog with.
Oh, so you basically go as a dime store Satan. You don't have all the prongs, but you still have the stabber.
Basically. Okay.
Poor frogs!
My first stamp for Daily 30, I did on Shores of Cochran Hollow.
And I will say now, forgive my yawning. We had a fun weekend, and I had a long day.
I also use this as, for Crystal Academy, as something that I have done some frogging on, and something that comes in a whip that comes in pieces, because it comes in blocks. Ooh, I just flung my needle minder at me. Mercy,
The
people.
needle minders attack. Da, 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 da.
A new Discovery Channel show. So I did 606 stitches. Okay, so Crystal Academy, the stitches for each prompt are 300. I think I mentioned this last week. The Crystal Academy stitches prompts are 300 each. The stamps were 500 each. So I just did 300. I did 2 sets of 300 on each of my projects because it worked out that way. Except for the one that I used for parts of the frog. So here we have, I finished the Moon and Star block.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay.
I'm too lazy to go get it.
So, it's okay. And then I started the next block. And the funny thing is, haha, funny story. So I did for Crystal Academy, I did my pieces prompts first. So I moved over to this one, then I did my frogging prompt. Or no, I did my frogging prompt first. So then I moved over to this one after I finished this block. And I started with the lovely letters. I put that V in 3 different times, working on the prompt for something that had to have been frogged. I was told I probably didn't have to take the prompt quite as literally as I did.
I'm trying not to laugh loud.
I laughed. I straight laughed. I was like, well, I decided I had to be an overachiever and take the prompt quite literally.
Well, the thing is, if you laugh about it, it's hee-haw fun. If I laugh about it, it's my face! I have a needle embedded in my cheek!
Yes. Oh, Lady of the Flag is stitched on a 32 count, hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm, for your thoughts. Shores of Cochran Hollow is stitched on a 32 count, hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm, Cleveland Fog. Lake Effect Morning. One of those two. It's Cleveland Fog. I think I've said it wrong a couple of times.
One of these millennia, like when she's done, Chuck, she put the name of it in that bag, and then she'll keep losing that piece of paper.
Honestly, if you want a piece of fabric bag like this, just tell me Shores of Cochran Hollow.
Its new name is Shores. That's the Shores fabric. Because that's what the shore looks like.
So that was 606 stitches total. Then we got a frog for every 50 stitches we did. I knew I did not have a lot of stitches left on my little white pumpkins. That is on my piece of random fabric that I don't really know what it is. So I pulled it out and I did 93 stitches to finish it and only got 1 frog. But it's a finish. So I don't care that I really only got 1 frog. I wasn't going to put like 7 more random stitches on it just to get another frog. So I have a finish.
You could have put a little heart on there.
So this will get FFO'd once we get moved.
I actually think, because Crystal, like, which one is the one we're doing? The war one.
Myth and Magic.
Myth and Magic, if you want to do something that's 50, you have to stop every 50 stitches and take a picture. From what I hear, you can do 300 stitches and do 6 at once, can't you?
For frog gigging, we could do as like we could post a start picture, do all of our stitches that we wanted on the prompt, and then count up our frogs. For our spell learning, we have to do 300 stitches for one post, 300 stitches for the next post for our learning, even if we're doing 600 stitches on the same project.
Because that's kind of what killed me with Myth and Magic, because it was like 175.
For the tour, yes.
Yeah, the tour. And that tour killed me. It totally ruined me wanting to do it.
Okay.
Let me do 350 and get 2, please.
Okay. So, after completing my 3rd stamp for the weekend, I decided I would start in on the daily 30 prompts for the week, because they are 500 stitches to get 7 tokens this week. You can get 5 tokens by doing 300 stitches, but I figured I had the time. I was going to do 500 to get 7. So, a place I would like to crash and sleep at would be this lovely farmhouse.
Did you like my response? My idea? That's really weird.
The Lady of the Flag.
I would love to sleep in the torch of the Statue of Liberty.
And had I thought of that, I might have done some more stitches on Lady. I really want to get Lady of the Flag finished. So I have high motivation to stitch on her.
Oh, there were some crazy people last night who told me I might be able to get dragons done by the end of the year.
So.
No.
Scenic Farm is stitched on an 18 count.
And if I do?
And I did. I did 530 stitches on Scenic Farm. I finished this peach color on the face of the barn and started on the tree. And got fairly annoyed with the tree because counting sucked.
Yeah, we were all laughing because she was very vocal.
Stupid tree. Stupid tree. The tree and I were having issues.
Johnny Appleseed called and said you're a bad person. You keep insulting the tree.
It was being a stupid tree, okay?
and then I made the 1 ha ha, 2 ha ha. That got me glared at.
Oh, I also did 532 more stitches on Shores of Hawkhorn Hollow for something that had an ocean on it. So would you like to know how many stitches I did this week?
No. Go ahead.
I did 3,354 and a quarter stitches.
Be glad the change crown is no longer over here, or 3/4 will be thrown at you. Make it even!
Nope.
Oh, frog a quarter stitch on you.
Better not.
I was torch the whole dang thing.
You're so mean to me.
I would never, and you know it.
So my silks for you. Silks came. I don't think I remember where I put them. So we may have haul. We may be back with the list.
Oh, I got haul.
You got haul.
Yeah, big bag of it.
We'll be back with haul. Oh, y'all.
Yeah! I do that every time. Yes, I am.
What did you get, honey?
I asked Laura to get me a few more skeins of floss, and somebody found a deal.
Amazon. $11 for a dozen.
I think this is what I started with.
In fairness, I had found a use for that color, so.
Afterwards. I actually want to get a beige to white version of variegated floss and do a white wine version of that.
Yes. So I got my silks for you, some lovely yellows and bronzes, I guess. My pretty silks of the month. Pretties.
Stills.
Silks, slick home. All right.
I was also trying to make sure I didn't break them.
You also have access to all of my stash.
Mm.
All right. That's all.
I would never stitch on your silks for 2 reasons. One, they're yours, and they're not cheap. And 2, I don't see the point.
So to be fair, Silks for You Silk of the Month is actually a really good deal. I think it's like $20. You get 5 silks, and that includes shipping from Australia to America.
I know. I'm not dissing the deals. I'm not dissing you getting it. I'm not dissing anybody who gets silks. If that's what you want to stitch with, more power to you. But me personally, I see no problem with cotton.
I don't see a problem with cotton either. I just Silks for You Silk of the Month is a good deal, and I like them. They're pretty.
Because I don't even want to know how much. Because originally what I'm doing called for silks. I forget how much the silks they called for cost, but I think it was about 5 to 10 times the DMC.
They were $8 a skein. It called for 12 skeins.
And the DMC was what, 94 cents?
No, it was a little bit more. It was a little bit like $1.
Yeah. So I was like,
had I been a smart human about it, I would have gotten you a hank of Silks for You Silk, and we would have went with that. But anyways,
I don't think you were doing silks for you when I bought the thread.
I was not.
I've been doing dragons for a long time.
All right. I'm not going to pull that off because I'll pull it on my head. Let's go on to plans.
Oh, come on. I want to videotape that. That'll get us plenty of views.
No, you're a turd.
Yes, I am.
Plans.
Moving. I'm probably not going to stitch for 2 weeks.
There's so much stuff in this house to box.
The thing is, all I gotta do is go get a bunch of the big boxes, and we'll do it Joe's way. Toss and sort when we get there.
I'm not just gonna toss my kitchen.
I'm not talking about the kitchen. I'm talking about the living room.
I don't have a problem with that.
Because it's all cloth. Like your craft room, I will delicately put stuff in the boxes.
My craft room isn't going to be super difficult. Because honestly, pull the dresser drawers out of the dresser.
Move the dresser, put the drawers back in.
Put the drawers back in the pod. Reverse process when we get to the new place.
I will get out my rope and tie it up.
That's fine. So, there will be moving.
So
I'll just throw all of the loose stuff in a big box or tote because most of it's non-breakables.
yeah, so I'm at least not planning on stitching much because in all honesty, like starting tomorrow, I'm gonna start hitting it like it's literally just going out of style.
Well, I have to call my mom and bring in some help. But
and if I do stitch, it'll be of course on dragons.
Of course.
I want to see that thing done on my brand new walls, hanging up in all of its glory, shouting, "Hey, honey, look! You don't have to kill me. I completed it."
Fabulous. Can I lob that thread about some other projects?
No.
Okay.
That was the only project you made that threat for. And the other ones I plan on getting.
Yes.
Just dragons is dragons, and dragons are awesome.
Yes. So, and like I said, this week's Daily 30, 300 stitches still gets me 5 tokens. And, Daily 30 is use it or lose it. So, I think next week is the last. I think this Friday is the last Friday we get an event where you receive tokens. So, it'll be okay.
And in all honesty, the thing is that this one can relax and stitch. I have to be awake. I can't be, no, I have to be wide awake. Otherwise, I am going to stitch a Picasso.
Y'all, I think I've managed 5 stitches today, and I may not get much more. It's been a day. But we're at Three's Company's week at Daily 30. Crystal Academy is on remedial week, so any missed homeworks, students can pick up to learn the spells. We don't get points, but honestly, my dorm has missed bonus points for fully completing all of the spells 1 week. It'll be okay. So, Daily 30. Three's Company's week is this week. Yeah, the TV show. So, we had to stitch on a whip that has an area in the design where you would like to crash. Live. Sleep at somebody's couch. And, of course, I did my farmhouse. Put stitches into a piece that has both male and a female in the design. Guess what? That's not getting done because I don't have a project like that.
Currently,
I don't think I have any project like that.
Well, you've done some like that, but not any recently. The turkeys. The wedding thingy.
Okay, the wedding thingy, yeah.
I think the dachshunds will dress up as male and female too.
Yes. Stitch on a whip that has a bike, an ocean, or a beach in the design. Ocean, scenic, or shores of Falcon Hollow. Stitch on a whip that has Christmas snow in the design. Finished my Christmas project. Don't really have another one that's got snow on it, so I guess that's not getting done.
Because we're not starting anything right now. Those are buried.
I have a few projects. I do have one Christmas project that I think has snow on it that I can get to. That's a kit. But I don't really think I want to start anything right now.
Yeah, you got enough on your plate here.
Yeah. Stitch on a piece with a police officer or a house that could have a landlord in the design. I've got Scenic Farm. I keep forgetting I have that Pana kit, the hut. Could totally stitch on that for a house. I'm probably going to pull that out and stitch on it because I keep forgetting about it. And it's not that big. And if I would remember I had this stinking thing, it would probably be done by now. Yeah, like I said, Crystal Academy is... Holy cow, this is going to be a short video this week. I stitched a lot on just one project this week. And...
I see your Lady of the Flag embrace you dragons of Sumatra.
I forgot a prompt. I had to stitch on something that we can relate to chemistry. Lady of the Flag. Because...
Copper oxide. Otherwise known as copper rust, for those who don't know. That's why the Statue of Liberty is
copper
green.
turns green when it's exposed to the elements.
Especially salt water.
Yes. So, speaking of salt water, let me scroll for 30 seconds.
No shit.
I watch the Weather Channel when I get home from work in the afternoons because that's about all that's decent that's on. And I find it very interesting. They talk about, they talk about the weather phenomenons that are going on in the country, and they put a lot of context behind them, why it's happening, how it's happening, the implications of it happening. So they're not just standing talking about the weather. I mean, they are talking about the weather, but you're learning about the
It's
weather.
not a forecast.
Yes, they're not just sitting there forecasting all day. You're learning a lot about the weather and watching them report, in various locations in the U.S. about the weather that's going on is very interesting because you see, things firsthand. So, Hurricane Ada hit the Keys last night, Sunday night, and lower Florida, and there's a lot of flooding in lower Florida. And one of the Weather Channel reporters is standing, on the edge of some floodwater in a neighborhood, and people are driving their cars out of the neighborhood. And one of the studio guy goes, you know what I wonder every time I see cars driving through floodwater like that? If that person driving through that floodwater, who makes that decision to drive through that deep of floodwater, seeing that it is that deep of floodwater, their car stalls out. Their car needs repaired. And the insurance company asks why if the car needs repaired from water damage, and they explain that I drove through high floodwaters. Does that void the insurance on the car? It's a solid question.
It probably doesn't void it, but your rates probably literally go, I believe I can fly.
Now, the reporter on location did counter that. This flooding in this area was really completely unexpected. And a lot of people in that neighborhood in particular were very much, they're trapped in, their jobs may be requiring them to report in, or they have an emergency, they need stuff. In that case, I could see where you would have probably a legitimate reason to say, I'm going to take the chance, but it was kind of funny. I laughed.
Every time I see any of those floodings and I see people driving, I'm like, unless you got a snorkel, don't try it. Yes, they actually have snorkels for all-terrain vehicles, so the air intake for the engine is actually near your roof, so your car doesn't stall.
My cousin Kelly has a Jeep, a 4x4 Jeep, and it's got a snorkel on it. So.
I actually learned that from Steve Irwin, the cocktail hunter.
Yes.
Because he's like, unless you have one of these, don't try this. And they drove through a river.
Yeah.
He's like, don't try. He's like, without this, I wouldn't be able, because I think they were actually in the outback doing a count of wild camels.
Interesting. Did you know there used to be wild camels in America? They were not indigenous. But the U.S. Army, before the Civil War, attempted to have a camel force in the Southwest because they thought that would be great for moving people and equipment through the desert.
Wrong desert.
It did not work.
Wrong desert.
And they released some of the camels into the desert. They sold some of the camels to private individuals, and they released a bunch of them into the desert. And up until like the 1980s, there was wild camels in the Southwest.
And it eventually died out.
I don't know if it was the 1980s. Might have been only the 1950s, but
yeah, because
it's random information that I have.
If you're wondering why I'm saying that, the desert in the southwest of the U.S. is not the same type of desert as it is in the Sahara. Well, there's nowhere near as much sand.
They put they did put research into figuring out what the best type of camel would be for the region, and even with the optimal camels for the region, it didn't work out. Some random information that I've picked up learning about history. Can you tell what else I'm into other than cross stitch? It's history.
She'll listen to history podcasts while stitching.
Yes. I listen to a history podcast all day at work. Sometimes that doesn't work out so well for me because it's about the Civil War. And when they talk about Civil War war injuries and you're eating lunch, it's not the funnest thing in the world. That's an appetite killer. Announcements.
We're not going to talk about the online retreat anymore.
You no longer have to hear me blabbling about the online retreat.
Actually, it didn't, but it might be different way now.
You have to listen to me babble about the in-person retreat in April.
Come on, enjoy our weirdness. Yes, COVID stuff will be in effect. Yes, we're following the laws as dictated by the state of Ohio. If you have a problem with that, don't come. I'm sorry.
April 8th, 9th, and 10th. It is in Lorain, Ohio. I have 4 people signed up for the retreat at this point. So I don't have enough interest for booking hotel blocks at the nearby hotel. But there's several hotels in the area. If you are someone who is not in driving distance and you want to fly into the retreat, we'll work something out to get you to and from where you gotta go. We'll see if we've got somebody that's driving that's at the hotel you picked to stay at. There is a hotel that's like 3 blocks away from the retreat venue that I recommend you guys stay at. It is, I don't know that there's actually a walking path, like, because of how it sits on the Black River.
I have no problem with shuttling back and forth from there.
But
I own a very big vehicle. I love my van. Hey, if like 3 people show up at Cleveland Hopkins at the same time, I'll pick y'all up. Just make sure y'all go into the same hotel for me, please.
Yeah.
I'm not driving all over Lorraine. It's enough going from Cleveland to Lorraine. But I'll drive it.
Other than the hotel up kind of on the other side of the river from the event location, most of the hotels are going to be, the nearby hotels are going to be in the Amherst area. And that's simply because it's closest to the highway, the toll highway. And there's a non-toll highway that crosses the top half of the state. So that's where the hotels really are. It's maybe 5 minutes from the hotel. You know, it's maybe a 5-10 minute drive from, you know, those hotels to the event space. This house is, you know, a 15-minute drive. I think we'll be at probably about a half an hour once we get moved. Big whoop. Check out the Facebook group linked below for the retreat information. I am suspending all work for Hand Dyed by the Slovak Farm until after we move, because we're probably going to start getting the craft room packed up this week. I could keep stuff out, but it would just be easier if I packed it up. I need to get stuff packed up because my brain hurts. And I'm stressing. And everybody's like, don't stress about it. And I'm like, I have 11 days and I gotta pack the whole house.
No, you don't. I already packed half of it.
Also true. There's a lot of stuff.
Before we put the house on the market.
There's a lot of stuff that's in boxes already. All right. I think this is like literally the longest clip of the episode.
Yippee, 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 yippee.
So what would we like people to do, darling?
Subscribe. We're awesome. You know you want to see more of us. Like, share, comment, bell notification thingy me Bobby. All that's wonderful YouTube footage.
All right. That's it. Y'all have a great week.
Bye.